plant or a tree or a rock or a river, but just um, bring that image into your mental space and take a few deep breaths and just sort of sit there with it. Pay attention to this image, this relative of yours, with your sight and perhaps your hearing and your touch, your senses. Uh, what does its outer layer look like? Is it furry or scaly or feathery or smooth or hard or soft or warm? For those who are just coming in, we're closing our eyes and focusing on a non-human other, a plant or an animal that we like. Listen with your inner ear to the sounds that this non-human other might make, or no sound. Now pay attention to this kin or this relative with your inner senses or your super senses, not sight or hearing or touch, but maybe feeling. If you open up your heart, what do you think this non-human other might say to you? And we'll close by calling up a phrase that wishes this non-human other well. Something like, may you be happy, or may you enjoy your time in the world. And just repeat it a few times. And then bring your attention back to our screen, to our high technology lifestyle, and to our class. So good to see everyone. This centering activity, um, I engaged in it because I'm fascinated with all the new research that's coming out of the scientific world on interspecies communication. It's really fascinating. I read a piece in the New York Times yesterday about a scientist who is collecting hundreds of bits of data from whales and the sounds that they make. And he's identified an incredible uh, language system emerging that's perhaps thousands of years older than human language. And what was interesting, Christy and I both read this, was he's beginning to use AI, the large language models, to analyze whale language. So it's altogether possible that within a very short time, we will begin to understand what these enormous mammals are saying with all their sounds in the ocean. So I just think that this whole idea of how do we get to know the world? How is it possible to really know deeply uh, a non-human other, like a plant or an animal? So anyway, that's my morning soapbox. So we're also going to explore multiple ways of knowing with this session. Focuses on epistemology. Um, so, but we're going to take a little bit of a backtrack just a little bit before we do that, and catch ourselves up with last week's what we learned last week in class. And I'm sure you remember our topic, uh, the deep philosophy of neo-humanism, the metaphysics, the ontology, the cosmology, probably the most complicated topic that we'll have this 6 weeks. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, that's okay. I think it's going to settle a little bit now. But we gave you the task of translating these ideas into your own words, and I loved reading some of the letters that you wrote to parents. It really showed me that many of you have a really good grasp on how to communicate these ideas to the public. So we're going to start with some small groups, just so you can continue to get to know each other and connect with each other. And we'll try to make this getting into groups as smooth as possible. I don't think our host is here today. So Krishna Prema is doing both teaching and hosting. So
Well,
we might need
Wilder,
to be.
sorry to Kathleen to interrupt, but Wilder has showed up to help
Oh,
also.
wonderful.
Yeah, so it's
Wonderful.
really
Thank you,
grateful.
Wilder. So we're still trying to sort out what the best group formations are, but we are trying to do some language specific breakout groups. So if you're in a group and you can't understand what anyone is saying, please communicate with Wilder and let him know so he can get you in the right group. But we're just going to spend, I think, about 20 minutes or 15 minutes. We'll know in a minute. And just discuss with the group, what was your takeaway from the unit of study on cosmology, metaphysics, and ontology? Uh, what were you thinking about following class? What kind of occupied your mind? And did you find anything challenging about the task of translating the ideas into everyday language, and any questions that you're left with? So we'll spend a few minutes discussing these points with your group. Be sure to introduce yourselves. And if you're in an inappropriate group, be in touch with Wilder. And I'll remind people to turn on their closed captions. I need to do that myself um, with help in understanding things. So, Wilder, I'll turn it over to you, and you can. We have more English groups on Tuesdays, so a little bit easier today. I think group 3 is the Portuguese speaking group, and maybe group 5.
Mhm. Yeah, I try to get the groups as close as possible, but some of the names were different
Ah,
than I could
I
recognize. So I did
noticed
my
that
best,
too.
but I can
Yeah.
move around if needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it helps if you put your correct name that you want to be called. I'll wait and join my room after we make sure everyone's settled, and we'll start the timing when everybody gets settled.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, can do.
Oh, I think we're okay now. Sandra, do you have a group? Okay, Sandra's
Obrigada.
asking you to get into a Portuguese group.
Isso, ok, obrigada. Thank you.
Hmm.
Thanks, Sandra. And Francis should be in with Patrick and Roman.
Yes, okay. Which one is? Mm,
We'll get you there, Sandra.
I think room 5, Wilder would be.
okay.
I mean, it's a big group, but
Hmm.
And Gunat Mananda should be in group 1.
No, that was a Portuguese group,
Ah,
and I
okay.
don't. Maybe it seems I'm always in a Portuguese group. Maybe the organizer thinks I speak Portuguese because it literally I think almost every time I'm with Portuguese people,
Yeah,
and
we need to
sometimes I
get.
speak.
Well, Ari is in your group, right? And he speaks English.
But there were three people, and they said, "Do you speak Portuguese?" I said, "No," and they
Oh
said,
dear.
and anyway,
Well,
for
maybe
them Portuguese is better.
put him with Ruth and Aga and Ibiam.
Is that group three?
No, that should it's group 4 on my list, but
Oh, now my computer's asking me to join breakout room three. Was that the one I was just in?
Wilder
I can change it. Yeah. Let's see. I'll assign to a different
and
group here.
Talita could be in group 1. Yeah,
Okay.
she speaks Portuguese.
Okay. Okay. Mm,
And tell us your name.
I didn't. I was in Brazilian group. I'm not from Brazil. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I,
Well,
You're what
I
English?
English Yulia Siminihina Sananda. I sorry. I didn't change. I
You're
forgot
who?
to.
You're Julia.
Yeah,
Well,
Julia.
okay. So Julia,
mm,
and Talita can be in the Portuguese group, which is with Geizy.
Namaskar, preciso de um grupo que fale português também.
okay.
And Ibiam
Obrigada.
should be with Patrick and Francis and Roman, or Ruth and Aga.
Okay.
Sorry, this is very hard to figure out. Now we have 2 more people in the waiting room as well.
Okay. Here.
Francis and Aga. There's so Ibiam and Aga, you'll be joining a group, and your task will be in the chat.
Yeah, let me know if you can.
Can we get Francis and Ibio and Aga in the same group?
Yes, they are scheduled for
they
all in the
just,
same group.
yeah, they
And
just haven't gone yet.
so if you do see like an invitation to join, I think for this one it's number 6, room 6. So I'll you know what, I'll resend an invitation and then you can find it again.
So Ibiam, you need to go to your group. So it looks like you put me in group 3, which is a Portuguese group, right? For some reason.
Well, I'm honestly unsure at this at this time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
Gosh,
okay. The people are Amaya and Ellen. I don't know if they speak Portuguese or not.
wow.
I
This
think
is
I think like couple things we need to do, Kathleen, is one, we got to have them change. They've got to use the same name.
right.
Because right now, like I was trying to do it before Wilder got here, and nobody has the right name, or they have a different name, and then maybe we have to just
Okay.
have to put their acronym of language, like
That's what I was
the
thinking too. That's one of
PTE,
the
and like
things.
we always did
Yeah.
that with planetary leadership training. It made it easier to be able to track students.
Yeah.
Um,
That's one of the things on my list to talk to you about
Yeah,
this week.
because this is, I mean, I
A mess.
Wilder, I was looking at him, I'm just like, I tried to start it before Wilder got here, and like handful of students, and then we have students coming late. So, yeah,
Wilder, you are a blessing. Thank you.
yeah,
What
thank
happened
you.
to Scott?
I
Yeah,
guess Scott knew,
yeah.
Rishi knew, but he forgot to it fell through the cracks. So he forgot to find a replacement, and
We did communicate and I found out and I was like, okay, yeah, I can join. I didn't realize that it was at 9 a.m. So I got there just then. Yeah.
well,
Oh,
thank you for
thank
being
you
here.
so much.
Yeah, Rishi took the responsibility that he let it fall through the cracks. So,
Yeah, that's happening a bit with Rishi. I think he's got too much on his plate.
yeah.
Oh well, maybe we'll get a $300,000 grant and be able to hire like a whole bunch of new people.
Or pay you while there's some more money.
Oh yeah. Sure.
I know you're wearing lots of hats right now, so yeah, which we appreciate.
Mhm.
So, is there a group that's really short? I don't need to join a group. I think sometimes their conversations are better without me.
Mhm.
Uh-oh, Francis has reappeared. He should be in that group with Aga and Imiam. Francis, you need to go to your group.
You might be having connection problems or something.
Oh, it's interesting. There's I think Francis has like two devices logged in.
I
So
see
he
that too. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And then Ananda Marga BH just showed up.
Mhm.
Do we know who that is?
Have no idea.
Hmm.
Can Ananda Marga BH identify yourself, please, so we know who you are?
It's I think it's Hiba Fazi.
Oh, this is the first time Heba's been to class, so we don't have her listed with the group.
Ah, good morning.
Good morning.
So here is Dada Purna Krishnananda.
Oh, Dada Krishnananda. Okay.
Is there no class today?
Nope,
This is the first time you've been here, right?
Sorry?
Is this the first time you've attended class?
No.
this is Dada Krishnan. This is Dada Krishnananda.
I joined auto class, the last two
Yeah.
class.
Yep.
Uh,
We're in breakout groups right now.
mhm. There's a few minutes left in our breakout groups. Would you want to join for the last parts of the discussion? Would that be good?
Yeah, send them to, are you English speaking?
Sorry?
English speaking or Portuguese?
Any group.
Okay.
We don't have an Indian group, but we have
No,
English
he
groups.
said either one.
Ah,
Either one.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Francis, are you in a group?
One of his devices are.
Chrissy, can you make that announcement about getting the names correct after we come back?
Yes, I will.
Great.
Hmm.
Wilder, you're able to take attendance?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, great.
Well, do you have any plans for the holiday week?
He's on
Uh,
his way to Maine.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
in
In fact, I
Maine?
thought you were leaving today.
I had actually I arrived Sunday. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, so
Yeah.
you're in Maine.
Yeah.
Okay. What's in Maine? Is that family?
Yeah, family.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. Good.
Hmm.
maybe you can start to hear the whales up there.
It's right. There are some whales around.
I
Yeah.
know.
I've been on.
That'd be fantastic. I just got a message from my friend that she went swimming yesterday and heard the whales, the humpback in Maui.
Did
Yeah.
you send that article to her?
No, I had not yet. I need to. I think she'd really appreciate it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome, Wilder. All you need to do is go under just a little bit of surface and this area we swim, we call it Airport Beach. It has a longer Hawaiian name to it. But yeah, I mean you just swim out like 10 feet and you just go down under like a couple feet of water and you can it's incredible the sound. Yeah, it's because of the way it's positioned and where the wells like and the echoes. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
uh,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
looks
Yeah.
like EBM is again in the waiting room.
I think they have a lot of internet, so they come in and out, in and out, in and
Yeah,
out.
that's hard.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Kathleen, are you cooking?
Yes.
She's a great cook if you ever get her space wilder.
Okay.
Fantastic cook. I don't think I've eaten that well in years.
Oh, well, you'll have to stop by one day on your way from Maine.
Yeah. I'd love
You
to.
drive up there.
I have driven. This time I flew. Yeah.
You flew.
Yeah.
At some point, I have to drive down to Asheville. I have boxes of like the whole collection of the Holistic Ed Review magazine and things I'd like to get out of my storage and into their library.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it looks like we're coming back.
Okay.
So let's close the rooms.
Okay.
Looks like they're pretty even. That's good.
Mhm.
I, I occasionally uh, uh, get out. I mean, there was a message, and I pressed the wrong button.
Oh no.
Oh,
But it's okay.
are we all back?
No, not yet. They still have 1 second. Here we come.
So, Christy, why don't you facilitate this reporting?
Okay. I'll just let everybody join us back. I think we've got a couple more still coming. All right, welcome back, everyone. Appreciate your patience on us trying to get the rooms. Um, one um, one request, if everybody could use the name that they registered for the course as their Zoom name, that would be really helpful. And secondly, if you could put, if you are a Portuguese speaker, put a PT next to your name, either in front or at the end of your name, and then for English speakers, maybe an EN. That way would be a lot more easier for us to sort you guys into the proper breakout rooms. And if you don't know how to do the renaming of your, you should, gosh, I haven't done it in a very long time, but you
You
should,
go to the three dots.
yep, you should go, be able to go to the three dots and um, find you can just click on yourself and rename yourself. Um, but that would be really helpful for us going forward. And now that we're all back
Uh,
in the,
On the phone, you go to the participants, click on your name, and it opens rename or something else, an option.
thank you,
And
Didi.
there's one person who has whole lot of numbers and letters, and that's Didi Ananda Rasashoda.
Okay,
So yeah,
thank you so
and I don't
much.
know if she's about to arrive here where I am. So yeah, okay, let's see if she can change her name. But that's
Thank
who
you.
it is.
So that's Didi. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Now that we're all back in the room, I want to give everybody an opportunity from each breakout room. If we could have one person just maybe share 1 point back with the whole group. So in room one, it looked like we had, I think it was a Portuguese room.
Yes, I can try to explain what we discussed.
Thank you, Ari.
So, three of us, we were in four. We're very busy this week in the schools. And two friends, Diane and Talita, were not able to go deep into this study because of the events in the school. And they had some issues in relation to the subjects of cosmology, metaphysics, and ontology. So they are thinking of reviewing and study more to have a very good understanding of that. And in my case, I was also very busy, but I somehow could find the time to go into that. And what was more important for me, or the main takeaway, was about cosmology, because normally I am very attracted by the question of ontological questions, like who am I? No, it always comes to my mind, and also human values, because the world is in a mess. No, so it's over. Every time you have to remember what's the correct way to answer or to respond to challenges, no? But for a while, I have not been paying attention to the question of cosmology and creation and the whole of our existence and universe. So this was really good for me, because it's like when you are thirsty and you don't drink, and suddenly you remember to drink. So it was a release for me. And I had a difficulty in writing the letter. And because we are in a very conservative background and context, and how to condense all this information and to express in a gentle way so that you will not create resistance with the people around. And similarly, Soma also had this difficulty, because for her it was difficult to put all this knowledge that she has about all this information and knowledge in just 200 words, no? So, and in the case of Soma, she had a very good examples, practical examples. Through her life in education, she brought some ways to show to the kids, to the children, these very deep concepts of cosmology, metaphysics, ontology. So it was really good.
Great.
Thank you, Ari. Thank you very much, everyone. Group 2. We have looks like we had a
Yes,
yeah.
I'm from group 2. We all agreed with this idea that the main goals of neohumanistic education is to understand, to accept, and to live with unity, and understand that we are the same with everything, with all beings in this world. And in the same time, we need to develop rationalistic thinking, and to remember about progress in physical, mental, and spiritual ways. Then we thought, how can we do it in practice? And there was a lot of ideas, for example, art, theater, storytelling, guided meditation, and for example, we can care about plants and animals together with children, like a teacher. I think it's all. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you very much. All right, so group 3. Looks like we had Amaya, Ellen, and I think we had a Dada also in there. Does somebody?
Yes, I can tell something. I don't know if Amaya wants to speak too, but
Thank you, Ellen.
it was so nice because we had, we introduced ourselves a little bit more, so we get to know each other a little bit more further. And we have spoken about the assignment, of course, and the importance for children to identify themselves with the light inside of them. And we discussed that in relation to discrimination and bullying. And it's very important for every child to be able to get to know this connection. And my own experience was that it was fine to write the letter, but that it was difficult somehow to find the words for the depth of the philosophy. So that we were talking about, and we talked a little bit more about what kind of school we're working in, and that was so nice too. Yeah. So I think that was it for now.
Thank you, Ellen. I'm glad you enjoyed having the opportunity to get to know each other a little more. So group 4, we had Yulia and Roman.
Dada? Me or you? Okay, we were two. I was with Dada, who is in Africa now, and we discussed that it's very good to know all principles and everything about neo-humanism, but you have to apply it somehow, and that they have nice talk, Dada's talk in South Africa, and they decided they wrote a lot of pages, and there is instructions how to imply all these neo-humanistic principles in school. So actually, I was very interested how it's going. So we talked a little bit about that region, that it's actually a very poor region in that area, and it won't be so easy to to do all the things that is needed in that school, but for sure they will make it because great team there. And from my side, I was thinking that it's great that neo-humanistic. Give me a minute, my mind. That we can, from epistemology and neo-humanism, we can use knowledge that comes from inside, not only from outside. And that is great because in other isms, you cannot do this. So we can meditate and we can hear intuition, and that also can be a way of learning for neo-humanistic education. That's all.
Great.
Thank you, Yulia. That's group 5. We've got Gustavo, Fabiola, Rina, Francis, and Dada Gundamantananda. Do we have somebody from that group that would like to talk about what you guys shared?
Maybe Dada?
Maybe Rina or Gustavo Fabiola. Somebody
Yeah,
jump in.
we're gonna try to explain a little bit here. We talk about the simple way to explain this for the fathers, mothers, from the kids, for the teachers as well, because we are in the all the people are simple people that work with us in the school. We started the school some weeks ago, so it's the challenge is how to explain for everybody the new humanist everything, and we can understand that the kids it's easy because they are going the intuition way, the way of the school, and it's easy to do this work, but the teachers, the family from the kids, it's a challenge for us. We are trying to understand how to apply everything, to explain, because there are a lot of dogmas, and because the religions here, we are inside of the forest. It's a farmers, really simple people around. So, but it's pretty nice. Dara talk about a little bit his own experience, university, and the school about this. And some people have no time to talk.
Of the group.
Okay.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you. And then our
May I ask him one little favor?
Of course.
Yeah, can you please write down? I was trying to locate where is their school, and I just need it written so I can't look it up.
Yeah,
The location.
maybe they can put that in the chat if you
Yeah, please do.
That would be great. Thank you, Rina.
Yeah, thank you.
That's wonderful. And our final group is room 6. We had Aga, Patrick, and Deborah Machado.
Namaskar. Krishna pode traduzir? Sim, ajudar? Então, fiquei no grupo que todos falavam inglês e eu não falo português. E eu passei para eles que eles tinham que fazer a dinâmica, mas eles não interagiram entre eles. Acho que precisaria de alguém para ajudá-los, minimamente, para que eles possam entender as tarefas e conseguirem acompanhar o grupo. E eu fiquei um peixe fora d'água, sem conseguir passar para eles o que eu gostaria. E eles também, por algum motivo maior, não conseguiram fazer a tarefa nem falar. Então acho que seria bom a gente dar uma olhada aí e ver como que a gente pode ajudar, né? E eu tô no grupo, acho que pela segunda vez no grupo que não fala português. Tá? É isso, namaskar.
This was second time that she was in a group of non-speaking Portuguese people, and she couldn't do the task, the homework, because she couldn't comprehend all of it. So, and she's asking if somebody could help her.
Okay.
She said the second time she's in a non-speaking.
Yeah, that's why we're asking to, from now on, to have to know the language so we can better get that sorted. So, thank you, Deborah, for hanging in there on that. We'll get that And the next group will make sure she's in a Portuguese group.
Próxima vez você vai estar em grupo falando português. So, graças para esperar. Graças. Obrigada.
E eu acho que eles precisam de ajuda também para poder.
Now you have to, Ari, now you have to translate.
Sim.
She thinks that those people also need some help to do the tasks. The people who she was gathered, no?
Sim.
All right, I think that's the end of our groups, Kathleen.
Okay,
everyone's
so
had an opportunity to share.
We didn't have a group with Aga and Patrick and
Yeah, no,
Francis.
they were in the room with Deborah.
Ah,
Who
okay.
just spoke, yeah. And I think they were also have if Francis or any of you like to add anything.
Okay, no, I just want to say the first group I joined was this group 6, where the Portuguese lady was the one, and she was speaking Portuguese, and we were trying to get so that we couldn't understand because most of us were English, so I had to leave the group to join group 5. So
Yeah.
it was more like a language barrier issue. So I think maybe the next time, maybe the person moving people to groups should take note of people who speak Portuguese. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Francis. We'll definitely get that sorted out for the next round today. All right, Kathleen.
Yeah. This is very complicated trying to get everybody into the right groups, but I just turned my closed captions on when Deborah was speaking, and it was translating very nicely this time. It doesn't always work well, but it seemed to be working today. So that was good. All right, so I think we've heard from everybody, right? So, one thing I wanted to share, I think you're all right on target with this idea of how to apply these really deep ideas. It's very important. And I will say that these first courses are the only really theoretical courses in the program. The rest of the program will be very practical. So we'll be looking at subjects like social studies and science and music and how you implement these ideas. So hang in there. I will mention one graduate of our program, Didi Anuraga, in Thailand. And she runs a school on the border with Burma and has many, many refugee children in a children's home and a school that goes all the way up to the 12th grade. And Didi was very inspired by the cosmology of Brahmachakra, which, as you know, is the sort of tantric theory of creation and then evolution. And she redesigned the school's entire curriculum, 12 grades, around the idea of Brahmachakra and built each grade to a more sophisticated understanding of all the aspects of evolution. And it's really quite beautiful. It's like 600 pages. It's huge. And it's been approved by the Thai government. And she's implementing it in her school. So hopefully, maybe next year when we study curriculum, I'll bring her in as a speaker and she can talk about her experience. But it's very inspiring.
Which Didi did that?
Didi Anuraga in Thailand.
Okay.
And she's very good about communicating with people. So I'm sure she'd love to hear from you. All right, we're going to move on now to the next phase of today, which some of you have already talked about, this idea of ways of knowing. And I guess I forgot to show this slide before, but this is what we just did in Portuguese. So we'll really study another great big word today, epistemology, which some of you may be familiar with and some of you may not be familiar with. But it's basically the study of knowledge. Knowledge, of course, is essential to education. It's a very most important. So we ask questions in this philosophy. What What is knowledge anyway? Who makes it? How is it made? What are the sources of knowledge, and how is it possible to know anything? And increasingly important, I think, in this incredible information environment that we're living in, is how do we help young people determine what is true and what is fake news, what is misinformation, and what is disinformation. So very important for neo-humanist educators. So, most of you know this, I'm sure, but it's the most obvious large categories of knowledge in neo-humanist education are what Sarkar calls extraversal and introversal. And just to remind us, I would suggest that extraversal learning resides mainly in the body, the physical body, and its experiences, as well as the Kamamaya kosha, the senses and the instincts, and then the Manomaya kosha, the cognitive activity of thinking and remembering, very much about the external world. And introversial knowing, again, concerns itself more with the inner knowing. What do we learn when we begin to go inside and look at our inner life? And there's where the koshas deal more with aesthetics and imagination and creativity. Increasingly subtle. Extroversial knowing is about matter and energy and thought. And then you get into the more subtle areas of intuition and discernment and spiritual longing. So it's sort of a movement from, I don't like the word crude because that sounds negative, but you move from the study of dense matter to the study of subtle mind. Extroversial knowing is most commonly seen in science, of course. And, with extroversial learning, we apply, and this is very important in neo-humanist education, the skills of inquiry, of sensory investigation, of documentation or collecting data, of analyzing, of logic and critical thinking. And I want to remind you here that in your materials for this week, I posted a summary of some important ideas that build on what you learned about critical thinking in your last class. It looks at critical thinking and critical pedagogy and the differences between those. So be sure to check those out if you can. This kind of knowing really began with science in the 15 and 1600s. It was a new way of knowing for humanity, but it's now infiltrated all of academia. Even the social sciences and the humanities rely a lot on these forms of knowing and a very specific kind of thinking, rational thinking, logical thinking, inductive reasoning. And while this is an incredibly powerful way of knowing, it's led to some things which are problematic. And one is this idea that these are the only ways of knowing. Everything else is not worth even thinking about. And what this has led to is the doctrine of materialism. And one Margie brother who works at the Long Island Progressive School has written a very good book on the theory of materialism and how that sort of captured the attention of humanity. And of course, materialism, the basic premise is nothing exists except for matter and energy and how those things relate to each other. So, um, by valuing this particular form of knowing, and I would say that it's pretty much taken over the planet, um, in the humanist context of conquest, patriarchy, capitalism, and colonialism, as well as economic imperialism, these ways of knowing have marginalized or suppressed many of the ways of knowing by which people have come to know the world for thousands of years. And those are the ones we're going to address now and try to sort of figure out how they belong in neo-humanist education. So Christy's going to talk about a very important one, indigenous knowledge or traditional ecological knowledge.
Thanks, Kathleen. So when we talk about traditional ecological knowledge or indigenous knowledge or TEK, we are definitely talking about something much older and broader than what most people think of as science, which Kathleen just talked a little bit about. So you have to think about long before the European Enlightenment, human beings were already scientists in the truest sense. They carefully watched the world, learning from patterns and relying on sensory experience to survive. So indigenous communities around the world built entire knowledge systems from their deep attention to place. And over these generations, people learned the relationship between plants, animals, water, weather, and the seasons. They came to understand how landscapes shift and how ecosystems respond and how human beings fit into the larger web. So this knowledge wasn't just practical, it was cultural, spiritual, and relational grounded. It included mythic understanding like dreams, visions, intuitions, and contemplative practices for listening to the land. So colonialism really tried to suppress these systems, and I think it continues to this day, but we do see a rise. But TEK never disappeared, and it continues as a living, adaptive way of knowing, carried forward through things like story, practice, observation, and of course, responsibility. And this is where TEK connects, I think, beautifully with neo-humanism. So neo-humanist education teaches that wisdom comes from relationship. And we've talked about this already, from caring for all beings, from understanding our place in the larger whole, and from honoring the intelligence of nature. So TEK models this perfectly. It invites learners to see knowledge as something rooted in respect, reciprocity, belonging, and ethical responsibility. So to kind of help you guys think about making this like concrete for your students, I just want to kind of offer a few examples. So one example is seasonal indicator. In many indigenous traditions, the blooming of a certain flower signals the arrival of a particular fish or crop. And actually in Hawaii, there's a certain tree, when the flowers are red, it means that sharks are breeding. So you kind of know to stay out of the water. That insight definitely comes from generations of watching the rhythms of a place. Another example is place-based problem solving. So let's say if you have a stream bank is eroding, a Western approach might be that we turn immediately to engineering solutions. A TEK approach would begin by observing how native plants naturally stabilize the soil and how water moves through the seasons and what culture responsibilities exist within the watershed. And finally, we can help students recognize that they already practice forms of ecological noticing. So many kids know which birds show up for a rainstorm or which plants appear in certain places year after year. So these are really everyday experiences that you can help them realize that knowledge begins with things like noticing and that they're already connected to the living world. And that is the heart of TEK, of traditional ecological knowledge. And like I said, it lines so naturally with the heart of neo-humanist education. Learning through relationship, honoring of all life, and learning place itself to be a teacher. So moving forward, if TEK shows us how knowledge grows through deep relationship with the natural world, introversial learning, which Kathleen talked a little bit about, shows us how knowledge grows through deep relationship with ourselves. So together, these two form a complete picture. So we have one rooted in connection with place and one rooted in connection with inner awareness. So where TEK encourages learners to observe the rhythms of the environment, introversial learning invites them to observe the rhythms of their own minds, hearts, and bodies. It is a still way of knowing, but the direction shifts inwards. And that brings us to the next pillar of Neohumanist education, introversial learning. So this is kind of an inward focused dimension of learning. Learning that arises from things like contemplation, reflection, and direct awareness of what is happening inside ourselves. It doesn't claim to be objective in all the scientific sense. Instead, it cultivates clarity through inner observation. So when children do things like pause, breathe, or meditate, even for a moment, they begin noticing their inner landscape, their sensations, things like emotions, thoughts, intentions. They can learn to witness these experiences without being overwhelmed by them. And this is really foundational for emotional intelligence and other things like self-regulation and empathy. And as Kathleen already touched on, yogic philosophy helps describe this process through the koshas, or layers of awareness. So from the physical body to the energetic, emotional, mental, and intuitive layers, through simple contemplative practices, learners can gradually become aware of these subtler dimensions of the being. So the purpose is not to retreat from the world. It is to help the children to move into a world with more presence, calm, compassion, and discernment. So when children understand themselves inwardly, they have more ability to relate outwardly with more kindness and purpose. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a breakdown of TEK and introversial learning. And now I'm going to pass it back to Kathleen, and she's going to talk about another type of learning called embodied knowing.
Thank you. Thank you, Christy. I want to piggyback on one thing that Krishna Prema was talking about. I read a wonderful book last year that was co-authored by Daniel Goleman, he's the guy who wrote the book on emotional intelligence. It was like a bestseller for years. Really popular book that has stimulated a lot of schools to develop curricula around emotional intelligence. What most people don't know is that Daniel Goleman is not just a psychologist, he is also a yogi. And his guru was Neem Karoli Baba in India. And so Daniel had a strong grounding in Ashtanga Yoga before he developed his theory of emotional intelligence. And the book is called Altered Traits. And the one sentence theme of the book is that we know in meditation that you can experience an altered state. And that state might be a feeling of love and compassion or bliss or expansion. But their research on hundreds and hundreds of meditators has demonstrated scientifically and clearly that if you continue meditation on a daily, regular basis, an altered state becomes an altered trait. In other words, it becomes part of who you are. I think this is enormously important because in addition to wanting to provide a strong academic curriculum, neo-humanist education is about character development. It's about developing the person. And I think that's an interesting way to begin to talk about meditation to the outside world, is by being able to cite the science behind how meditation develops a strong character and, the feelings of compassion. So that's all I'll say about that. I'll put the name of the book at some point into our materials
And I
because
also
it's
just put it in the chat, the title.
good. It's definitely worth reading. So, embodied, if I can get to the next slide, embodied knowledge. This really connects with what Krishna Prema was talking about in many, many ways. And I will remind us that the Enlightenment, the period of humanism, it reinforced an understanding of knowledge living only in the brain and the mind. Okay? And this resulted in the separation of mind and body. Mind and spirit was seen as something superior, and the body was seen as something inferior. Um, Interestingly enough, for the religious community, which was also very strong still in the Enlightenment, the body was seen as the place of sin and evil, flesh. And so there was a lot of disdain for the body. This also resulted in a gender hierarchy because, according to this philosophy, men were perceived as rational and able to know things, and women were considered irrational and simply able to do things. So that kind of gender discrimination has lasted for a long time, the patriarchy that emerged from it. So, what is neglected when you focus exclusively on rationality? Well, the senses, the emotions, and practical activity. And I want to reinforce here that neo-humanism education is a very practical education. Sarkar himself said, knowledge is only worthwhile when it is applied. And I think that's a great principle to live by. So, intellectual knowledge is according to the Enlightenment, was considered orderly and tidy and neat and clear and abstract. And that was the only stuff worth knowing. Whereas embodied knowledge was messy. Um, it was complex. It was filled with uncertainty and ambiguity. And these Enlightenment philosophers didn't like that. Because it was too much about real life experience. But we know now, and science has come around to believing in the complete integration of body, mind, and spirit. There's a profound interconnection, and we really need to pay attention to the whole picture in order to make sense of the world. So, Christy, we'll shift to you next with another form of knowing, which is narrative knowing.
Thank you, Kathleen. Yeah, so another important way is narrative knowing. So, as human beings, we are natural storytellers. And when something, if you think about, reflect on something surprising, funny, or meaningful happens, my first instinct is to often share it. And if the story is good, we just don't tell once, we tell it over and over, shaping, refining it, and sometimes maybe even embellishing it a little bit to the moment and to the audience. But storytelling is really one of the fundamental ways we communicate with one another. But it's important to also understand that narrative isn't only about things like entertainment or passing information. There are real epistemological benefits to reading, hearing, and telling stories. So, narrative knowing is really about the ability to create mental images, scenes, characters, emotion that helps us hold and organize those important ideas. It's a skill of remembering through examples and lived experience rather than through abstract lists or isolated facts that often we see in conventional schooling. So when we practice narrative communication, we strengthen a unique type of reasoning. It gives us the ability to expand our capacity to understand other people's stories, to empathize with their experiences, and to perceive meaning in events that are complex or emotional. I remember one time reading a study that those that read more fiction versus nonfiction had gained more. The study had showed that there was a greater sense of empathy in those that read fiction novels, and so I thought that was quite interesting. This is why narrative play, such as powerful role, is in shaping identity. They help us see ourselves clearly. They help us understand where we come from, what we value, and how we want to move through the world. So, people who develop strong narrative reasoning can gain a deeper, more comprehensive understanding of the human experience. They tend to be more empathetic, more reflective, and more capable of connecting from differences. And I think it's important to also that narrative knowing naturally connects to intergenerational knowing. The stories that we tell and the stories we inherit are really carried across generations. So, and it kind of goes back to the indigenous knowledge we were also speaking about earlier. So, elders, ancestors, families, and communities all pass on wisdom through narrative. So, when children learn to listen to stories with depth and to tell their own stories with honesty, which I think is really important, giving them the space and the tools to tell their own story, they participate in a larger flow of knowledge that binds all of us together. It binds generations together. And so I think narrative knowing and being able to share the stories and to hear everyone else's stories is just critical to what we're doing here with Neohumanist education. And I'm going to
Yeah.
pass it on to Kathleen, who's going to talk about aesthetic knowing.
And if it's okay, I'll also add a little something to narrative knowing. The field of educational research, which for a long time was just quantitative and statistical, um, in the 1980s burst open and all sorts of new ways of studying education and learning cropped up. And narrative knowing is a recognized research method now in education. So some people collect the stories of teachers, for example, in classrooms. And through those stories, they begin to extract knowledge about schooling. But the other important thing, and this I learned about from an Australian scholar years ago, is the pedagogy of narrative knowing. And this this person, it's a great little book called Teaching as Storytelling. And the premise of it is not just like reading fiction to children, which of course goes on in early childhood a lot. We love to read books, children like to read books. But his premise is that every subject in the academic world, science, social studies, ecology, is best taught through story. Now, think about this. I think he believed that the human brain, because we have spent millennia learning from stories, is kind of hardwired for the story form. And you'll encounter this more in the course on literacy, but it's really, you can teach anything in science. You can teach the Big Bang or evolution or the human body through the telling of stories. And what happens then is that students are highly engaged because they gravitate to story, whereas students who fall asleep reading a textbook full of dates and facts are not that interested in the knowledge. But if you can create a story out of it, it captures their attention. So I think this is a really important one. Now, aesthetic knowing, I think this is our last one. This is a particular favorite of mine, the arts, and I think you'll find that our program is very heavy into music, drama, theater, dance, literature, and there is a reason why Sarkar emphasized really emphasize the role of the arts in neo-humanist education. It's not just because they're beautiful or they're fun or they're entertaining. They may be, but the point is that the arts are a serious way of interacting with the world, of engaging with questions and formulating ideas and deepening knowledge. If you think about it, um, the arts involve a huge range of symbolic knowing, of visual learning, of auditory learning, and embodied experience. And just like with narrative knowing, aesthetic knowing has become a recognized research method. Um, Researchers have figured out that they can learn about the educational process through the arts. And when we do that course on arts-based learning, I will share with you some of the experiments that have been done with meditation and children's art, where we're really learning a lot about the subjective experiences of children through the art that they produce. So that's art-based knowing. So, Christy, do you want to facilitate the breakout groups? We're going to do something a little different now, which is put you back in the same groups. And hopefully, if someone was not in the correct group, make sure they're in a good group this time to understand. And Christy, I think we can sort of let them choose their topic this
Okay.
time.
Okay. So yeah, so we're going to break out into small groups again. We just covered a few of the different forms of knowing. So we're going to do an exercise and you're going to apply these ideas. So each group will have a common topic in education. And again, I guess Kathleen said you can pick your topic.
And we did have some suggested
Yeah,
ones.
well, yesterday the last class we had a photosynthesis, immigration, the human body, the age of discovery, evolution, weather, and climate. But we also had some creative approaches yesterday, so you don't have to stick to those. And the goal is to have a brainstorm and three ways of approaching the topic through different ways of knowing we do like you to pick a specific age group, so something that would be age appropriate. And so we will try to arrange these groups, and then we'll come back and we were going to ask you to share, and I'll put in the chat the three ways and just kind of the general what we're asking for you to do. And are you wild? Are you ready to have them go in their breakout rooms?
Yes. So
How long do you think?
I think we could do 20 minutes, but choose your topic right away. Don't spend a lot of time figuring out what your topic is. The idea is to sort of just brainstorm and generate all the different ways you could study something.
Yeah. Let your creative flow go. Yeah. So, all right.
So Wilder is putting us in breakout rooms. So join your room.
Mm-hmm.
Please, group one in Portuguese. Okay.
Soma, you need a different group. Is that right?
She needs to be in a Portuguese room.
Yeah.
So that would be group one. Was that group one or?
Well,
She wants straight port. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have a straight Portuguese group, so there'd be a Portuguese person who could help with translation. Um, I tried to go back to like our originals groups, so we don't have a straight Portuguese group at the moment.
Fourth group, I think, is Portuguese. I just came out from that group. Fourth.
Oh, four? Okay.
What group was it?
Fourth.
Four?
They talked Portuguese, but maybe not all. Maybe
Okay.
somebody speaks English. But can you put me somewhere also who speaks English?
Yes, yes, of course.
My name looks like Portuguese, no?
Look, Russian.
Ah,
Is it Russian?
yeah.
I'll try. Oh, okay.
Me, I wanted to be in group number 2.
Lena wants to. It's back. Okay, I'm just gonna keep trying to move people to the groups that work for them.
Yeah, it's room 3 should be good for Soma, right?
Yeah.
Soma, can you join group 3? Oh, maybe she froze.
Okay.
Wilder, eu preciso de ajuda para ir para um grupo que fala em português, a Thalita. Por favor.
Talita needs to be in a Portuguese group.
Okay.
How about group 4, Eros by them? We keep losing people in and out. That's kind of the problem too. Because Eros all by themselves.
Who?
Yeah, I see that.
Eero is all by themselves.
Okay, and I'll try to find a group for you, Alina. Okay.
My group number 2.
You want
I
to be number
remember.
2? Okay.
Yes, because we discussed it, and my name was in number 2.
Okay. All right. We'll try number 2. And
And Diane should be in a Portuguese group.
Oi, eu falo português. Eu estava na sala da Érica Barão e caiu meu sinal.
With Erica?
Érica Barão. Ai,
okay.
é sala de português, eu falo português.
Okay. We'll try number 3 with Erica.
Obrigada.
And who is Ananda Marga? That's Dada?
Yeah, that's Dada.
Okay, we could say
How about room 5?
5. Yeah, I think you're right. Try that.
And Francis?
Francis, okay.
Can Francis go to room? Is Francis room 6 maybe?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Now they have to actually join the rooms. That's the problem too.
Please join your room.
Francis, there may be an invitation, and I'll resend it here for you, but group number 6 is the one you want to go to.
Dada, are you with a group? Uh-huh.
I think they're just having a lot of connection problems.
I think one thing I'm learning is that like some of the Portuguese speakers like to like they like to be just with Portuguese speakers.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe the translation isn't working as good as it. So having like a dedicated Portuguese group. Um,
Definitely.
yeah. Hmm.
And somehow it's almost like we need to either talk or write instructions for joining a group. Some people are missing the invitation or something. Donna, can you hear us talking? Or are you in a group?
No, he's not. Definitely not in a group. He hasn't joined the
Sorry.
group. Oh, there we go.
Namaskar, Dada. Do you see an invitation for room
Ah,
number
Oh, there we
five?
go. Oh, there
there we
he
go.
joined finally. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
he's just having a lot of connection because he keeps coming in and out of the meeting.
Is he in India?
I don't know.
Oh, this is exhausting, this breakout group thing. So much trouble. Any suggestions that either of you have for making it work better? Maybe we could write them down this week and get set on it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I just feel like we're still having. I mean, it goes both sides. I mean, I have a language barrier because I don't understand all of them either. So like, we're not understanding each other. So and unfortunately, Zoom was set up for English speakers. So I don't think the interface for them is in Portuguese, is it? Do we know?
I don't know, but when the one woman was reporting, I forget her name, in Portuguese,
Yeah.
I turned on my closed captions and was getting a perfect
Well, yeah, yeah.
translation.
I'm just thinking because some people are using their phones, so that changes like the way you get. And I'm just wondering, and some it's just technology is such an overwhelming barrier too, in the
Right,
sense of like I know from my own mom, she'd panic, like it was a panic thing with technology. So I don't know if that's occurring too. And then also we have this connection problem where
right.
people are just in, and I mean, and we're all seeing it. It's like every 2 minutes somebody pops in, pops out. Like,
Hmm. Yeah.
so I don't know.
I don't know whether it's, I mean, we could just cancel breakout groups altogether, but it's so nice that people get to know each other a bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How do we dress a few people that want to be in just a Portuguese room is a
Well,
challenge.
I think that we're going to have to talk about this. I think it's going to be important to have
The
a dedicated class just for Portuguese
Portuguese, I
speakers.
agree with you
Mhm.
100%.
It's the dual language that gets to be the problem.
Yeah.
And I would say even if you and I were multilingual and spoke Portuguese, it would still take up a whole lot more time because you'd still have to be, you know, speaking in both languages. So we'll suggest that at the next faculty meeting. I'd almost rather teach an extra class every week than struggle so much.
Yeah, yeah, I think it definitely takes away from the flow.
All right, we got 9 minutes left.
Mm. So will you do a traditional dinner for Thanksgiving, Wilder?
Yeah. Well, we'll have a traditional dinner. There'll be a vegetarian option for me, of course.
Fantastic, yeah.
The family supports me.
That's great. That's good.
Yeah.
We my little niece goes to a gym class and they played a song last week and it was really cute. They had a little finger puppet they were passing around and it was I think there was 7 girls. They're all the age between 3 and 5. I think they can go up to 6. But anyway, that little finger puppet and he was playing a guitar and it was this song called Albuquerque, the turkey, like playing on the Albuquerque. The kids didn't get it
Oh,
at
yeah.
all, but it was great. He had a good harmony. And the kids were passing the little finger puppet around. And at the end of the song, he goes, "Don't eat me, ate a tofu turkey." And all the kids are like, "What's a tofu turkey?" It was so cute. It did it like, it's just, I was laughing. I wanted one kid to be like, "Oh, that's what we eat."
Oh, sure.
But no, yeah. I mean,
That's so there's family nearby where you live. Is that right?
I'm living with my brother and his wife and my niece. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hello, Boniaga. I shared an invitation for room number 6.
Oh,
Okay, good. Found it.
yeah, so they'll do like more traditional and I'll just eat my normal meal.
Yeah.
I remember one holiday I had my family. I have 4 sons. I had turkey eaters, I had vegans, I had vegetarians, I had a pescatarian and a lacto ovo vegetarian. And I'm like,
Oh my
I had
gosh.
so many dishes on that table. It was
That's
ridiculous.
so funny. Yeah, no, I took the stress off of them and I said, "Don't worry about it. I'll just eat my normal meals." And yeah.
Well, most of Thanksgiving, almost everything I cook, everybody eats now because it's like potatoes and salad
Yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah.
all that. And then one of my sons brings a small bit of turkey for, the two of them and the father that like turkey. And then I make I've got to figure out a recipe this year. The centerpiece is always hard for vegans because vegan cooking is mostly side dishes.
Mm,
And with no onions, garlic, or mushrooms,
yeah,
that eliminates like
a lot.
10,000 things that you could cook.
Yeah.
So I have to make something for, the shaman and his family that's really pure. So I'm going to do something stuffed in puff pastry.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
it's always hard coming up with a centerpiece. I mean, the turkey is such a archetypal center. But even like a mushroom stuffed tofurkey or something,
Yeah, yeah.
works. But boy, when you get down to the basics, it's hard.
I just read an editorial note from I think it's at the Yale Climate News, and
Uh-huh.
the editor wrote that they're skipping the turkey this year and they're doing dessert only, and they're gonna play bananagram and eat desserts until they're sick.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, I was like, that's a good way of approaching it. But yeah, I uh,
Mhm.
I would skip. Unfortunately, I would skip the whole holiday if it wasn't fair. I was with family, but
Well,
yeah. And
it's
when
fun.
we're on Maui, we do a mix. Like we'll do a lot of meat platters, but with a lot of vegan too, because there's kind of a mix. But
Well, Thanksgiving's a weird holiday for us because the father is Native American. He
Mhm.
he doesn't think a whole lot of Thanksgiving. Um, anyway, and then all the vegetarians. So we just look at it as an opportunity to hang out together.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. We were reminiscing the other day how we used to go like to a large family gathering when we were kids, and we each one had to go around the table and say something we were thankful for. And then what was one time we had watched some like Blazing Saddles. right
What a great
beforehand,
movie
and
that
we
was.
could not like hold our composure. We were just kids, like, and there's a whole group of us, and we just like kept laughing. And my uncle was just getting very impatient with us, like, because we wouldn't tell us what we're, because every time one of us would start, we just start like thinking of the movie and start laughing. Um, and it was just
It was
contagious.
a funny movie.
It was, and it was so contagious. My brother brought that up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, such a good memory. Yeah.
We always have trouble finding something that we all want to watch.
Oh, we've got
I think we're going to
yeah.
do the American Revolution this year, the Ken Burns thing.
Oh, okay. That's a great suggestion. Yeah. Well, not
Yeah.
here, but my niece is on to Peppa the Pig and Bluey right now. I can't sit and watch TV. It's really,
Oh,
really difficult for me. So I just
well, I can. If it's a British detective story,
see
I'm
that
glued.
I'm yeah, that would be questionable. I probably could do something like that, but I just yeah, there's so much to read and yeah.
Oh, I don't think I watched anything the years I was in grad school like you.
Yeah, I think I'm literally done with all the reading for the semester unless somebody throw like a teacher throws something out there in the next like
Oh,
last minute.
good.
But there's, then it's like working on the final projects and still framing my capstone project and yeah. So, and
Ah.
today I'm meeting with a gentleman on Oahu and also somebody on Maui, and they run a nonprofit trying to convert the cesspools that are all over the island. So I'm really excited to talk to them and see where we where our work aligns.
Are they like lagoons
The
for waste?
cesspools? Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it's individual homes. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I mean it's like Maui, they were supposed to before the fire, I was like a cutoff date that a lot of those homes, most of them are Hawaiian homes, which is anyway. We're supposed to change to sewer line. Fire hit, and then Maui County admitted they weren't ready anyway for the
Oh,
infrastructure so they're given an exemption for now. But I mean, but it's yeah, synonymous all over the islands. It's just so yeah,
all right. So it looks like the whole group will probably take up the rest of the time, right, Christy?
most
It's
likely, yeah, yeah.
ten
If we
now.
don't rush people and give them space to really share
Let's
their
do that.
ideas, yeah,
I thought this group has so much to say. And then we'll just open next week with the indigenous knowledge stuff.
I think that would be great. And they'll have the readings this week, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that might even, yeah,
that might help.
yeah.
So Wilder, any feedback you have on the course as from your student perspective will be very helpful. So feel free to
Oh,
give us advice or suggestions.
oh well, just right off the initial thought is the homework. I really appreciate like writing for the parents and like a potential school because that's what I'm thinking about like a few years in the future is like
Right.
doing like a media lab or some kind of film program. So it's
That'll
like
be great.
yeah, so it's like developing the curriculum for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. This stuff is so heady, you know, we have to figure out ways to make it real. All right. See you all in a few minutes.
Sounds good.
Just to remind people what to present.
Mm.
Do we have everybody back?
We're getting there. We're at just a few more students to come back. All right. Well, welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a productive and positive experience in your breakout rooms. And I think we got some of the language options down a little bit better today on the second group. So again, we appreciate you being patient on that. So now we have an opportunity to share what you guys talked about. So a couple questions that we would like you to reflect on when you're sharing today is, what was your topic? What age group did you aim at? And what are the different ways of knowing that might have informed this topic? And we'll kind of take the remainder of the class to really take time to share. So if somebody from great breakout room number 1, we had
And
Ari.
when I pin somebody, does that show up on all the screens?
I think you need to spotlight them.
Ah.
Like I should say spotlight for everyone.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I
While
can.
I figure that out? Okay.
Yeah. So does somebody from group 1?
Maybe Ellen would be our representative.
Ellen, are you?
Okay, let me try. It's a good challenge for me. We talked about the topic photosynthesis, and for the age group 5, I think 5, 6 years old, kindergarten age. And we discussed, more what is it on an intellectual level? So what is the knowledge we want to share to the kids? And that is that energy comes from the plants and the leaves, and that it will feed you, it will feed your body, and yeah, just add something when I'm telling it wrong. So we talked about doing arts, so to take the leaves and to make some drawings, I think. We talked about doing drama, make some animation from it, to play theater and make a story about it. So yeah, maybe Dada, you can add something because you had some nice examples, and yeah, Ari too.
Namaskar, everyone. Well, what we thought was that for photosynthesis, the main idea is that the plants take the energy from the sun and store it for food, which they can use later, and which they can then share with other life forms that need food. And um, yeah, then we thought about, making a collage with different leaves on a piece of paper and some art project to sort of gather in the interest of those who are artistically oriented, and also to make sort of we couldn't decide what type of media to use, but the basic idea was to make some type of cartoon or something to that effect, where the leaf, like the sun was talking to the leaf, and you make them, you anthropomorphize the process, because that's what you do in cartoons when you're teaching children. And the sun like gives some energy to the leaf, and the leaf sort of puts it in his pocket, and I don't need it now. I'll store it for later, because when I get hungry, I can use this energy. And then the leaf meets a person who's hungry, and the leaf says, "Oh, the sun gave me this, but it's turned into an apple," and and he can give it to the person, and so you can eat this apple. There's sunlight inside. Um, and but then the problem was that, okay, that's a really nice thing to do, and you can imagine a lot of cartoons that are made to teach such things, but to do that for every single lesson would take a lot of time to create something like that, and that's sort of where we finished. Yeah.
Thank you. Fantastic. You have a whole lesson plan there. All right. Let's move on to group 2. We've got Amanda. We have, I think, Dee Tapamaya, Yulia, Elena. One of you would like to?
Amanda, please go ahead.
Yes, our group was talking about how to use introversial knowledge to understand scientific knowledge by experience. So we choose as a theme the 5 elements like water, air, fire, earth, and ether for 7-year-old children who start going to school. And we said we could do a lot of things like swimming in water and looking at the waves and giving water to plants. What does it do with it? And to animals. Then how to do fire and to take care when we cook, or the sun as a fire element we depend on to get warm and feel that, or even plasma, how it creates inside electric energy. Then the airs to build up streamers and windmills, the earth to see how from a seed it gets water and also light, the other elements needed so it can get a sprout. And then we could garden every day with them and see which animals live under the earth also to get nearer to the earth, like the worms, and what do they do there. So we went to the earth, then to the ether, where we said it is something like space and weightlessness. How can we do this in movements? Which not conventional instruments can give us the sound experience. So we said there are a lot of ways we can use it by storytelling, drama, artistically, or by dancing. So the elements start to communicate one with the other, and at the end do a visualization where we equilibrate the elements. So if we want to be happy and we want to be healthy, it is important to feel how it feels with the water, and maybe there's too much fire and it's too hot, so we can take it away with cold water. Or so everything is a wholeness which helps each other and which complements each other. This was more or less our discussion about.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Wonderful. Very depth. All right. So the next group we have is, I think we have Erica, Amaya, Soma, Talita, Diane, and Deborah Machado. Do we have somebody that can volunteer from that group?
Yes, may I?
Thank you, Erica.
Our group talk about the climate, weather, né, was in the also in the PowerPoint in the slide, and we choose the different seasons of the year and the striking characteristics. Né? For example, in a country like Brazil, and how we could see the time passing, né, the lapse time, for example, by moon cycles too. So the proposal was to age 4 to 7 years, né? Kids from 4 to 7 years. And the two ways that we could talk about that with these kids will be to do what we call the seasonal tables. A proposal is to bring this to the attention, né? And we invite the students to compose the seasonal table with elements of the weather from that season, the nature that surrounds them, and live for a while. And it will changing as the stations or as the seasons are going to change, and to take attention of them to these changes. Né? Also, storytelling, some bring a story using these elements from this seasonal table. Two students have the experience to sense, to touch, for example, pine cones or dry leaves and see the difference of them. So we have this narrative way of doing. Second way would be to take them to a circle dance and bring the movements of the weather to the body, also in meditation and relaxation. And it's possible to bring these elements such as falling like a seed in the earth, opening, growing as a seed, feel how you move, feeling the sun passing or by water being involved by water, and making a forest with the oldest. You could do a forest with a posture of a tree, and doing some asanas and so on. So talk about plants and season, doing these creative movements. And a third way will be I don't know, the traditional knowledge, not in the traditional thing, talking about the traditional schooling, but doing the observations of the moon cycles, for example. Be awareness of this integration of everything. Planting, for example, doing a kind of planting according the moon cycles, asking them or telling them to count the ones that start to count. How many moons are needed for the seed to grow or to start to move it, to do the first, to appears the first leaf, for example, so they can integrate the whole space, the feeling about this time passing and the seasons. I think that was this. Your microphone is closed, Christy.
Oh, thank you, Erica. We could fill up an entire curriculum plan here, Kathleen, with everybody's
Right.
examples today. This is
Great.
fantastic. All right. And our next group, we had just two people in there. We had Gustavo and Fabiola, and I believe Ananda Marga is a Dada, right?
Three people.
I'm sorry, three people. Excuse me. Thank you for that correction.
Hello. We talk about the ecological and the cycles of the nature of the people around 4 until 7 years old. And you got the experience that the communities already have. For example, the cycle of the moon. When we have full moon, we have more variation with the tide. So we can talk with the kids, let's go low tide now. We can go by walking to the school. We can play in the sand at the beach because you have a big space, you know. And we talk about this cycle with the food as well. We have some flowers coming. Next time we'll have the fruits, some trees. Now it's caju season in this time, and we talk and they go to harvest, climb the tree, and we talk about the wildlife. This tree feed wildlife around, feed us, and how we to understand these trees, the animals that walk around here, and show us the fruits that somebody ate here. And another point that you talk, the Irina tell us, it's about the game as well that she's doing in her school. You want to?
Yeah. She talked about this game she's already used at the school. That's one game that they compare the emotion for the kids with the weather. So when the kids arrive at the school, how is your weather today? It's sun, it's cloudy, it's raining. How's your weather? And during the day, if the kid during the day they come back and talk it again with the kid, ask again for the kids, how's the weather now? And then they start connect with the emotion with the nature. She really a really nice game with the kids. Really work. Was that? And Dada couldn't talk. I don't know why.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love the weather check-in. We've actually done that in my my doctoral class too, actually. It's a great way of to break the ice. All right, that's great. Thank you for sharing. What fruit did you say is in season right now?
Caju.
What is that?
Cashew. Cashew. Cashew.
Cashew.
Oh,
Cashew nuts?
a cashew nut.
Ah,
Oh. Because I saw Erica smile when you said it. So I was just, okay.
It's because we don't have only the nuts here. The nuts is only one part of the fruit.
Because there's a fruit,
We eat
yeah.
the whole fruit here, and I
Ah.
don't have here because the fruit that arrives here in São Paulo, they are not nice. But I miss a lot because I could prove the really sweet and nice ones there.
Oh, I did
So
not
when
know
they
that.
talk about, came in my memory that nice flavor.
I did not know that. I just learned something new. Thank you.
I'll try to bring one next class.
Fantastic. All right, we have one final group. Um,
ah.
yes, Aga, Patrick, Eero. I know you guys were having some trouble with staying connected, but if somebody in there would like to share, we would be fantastic to hear from you. Maybe Patrick.
They've got some internet issues. There's Patrick.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Can you turn your volume up, Patrick?
Okay. See better now?
So you're still pretty, it's pretty quiet, but
Can you all hear me?
We can see you, but we can't hear you very well.
yeah.
Okay. Let me increase the volume.
That's getting better.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. For this group, our group, we chose the age range children below 6 years, and then we chose the topic climate change, and then we looked at the method of embodiment, embodied knowledge, and aesthetics. And we looked at, under this method, we'll be using issue like pictures of maybe bush burning, explosion, and the essence is to build at this age the issue of climate change on the children, and then also just of the impact of why they feel heat or they experience some changes in the weather through storytelling by using drama, using songs, and other artistic method to communicate the method, and also using methods like other artistic method like dancing to explain why certain changes are experienced changes like that I was talking about there used to be snow to use the land, but then you observe that there is less snow and the weather is becoming unusually hot, and this as a result of climate change. So this is to the children that this is what they experience by embodied knowledge and then also the aesthetic method. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Boy, that's a really tough one, isn't it? To
Yeah,
teach about things like climate change without frightening young children. It's a hard balance to find, you know.
absolutely.
So this has been great, Christy, hasn't it? Hearing so many good ideas.
Yeah, very creative, and I really appreciate everybody exploring different topics and even some different age groups.
Really.
Approaches were.
So, I hope you've enjoyed this look at different ways of knowing. I think the main takeaway is we need to learn to balance the sort of conventional academic study of textbooks with more robust ways of knowing and experiencing. I'm getting a bit of an echo here.
Should be fixed now.
Okay, so, the idea is there's many, many, many ways of knowing, and they all have a different kind of value. So what we need to figure out is what's the most useful in a particular circumstance. So Krishna Prema and I are both real fans of indigenous knowledge for particular reasons. Sarkar emphasized the importance of place and culture and language. So we're going to stick with that a little bit next week and open with a nice video. And then we will move on to talk about the arts next week, which is my favorite topic. So hopefully you will enjoy that. Homework for the week. We're keeping it pretty minimal, but there are two readings. One of them is a handout that sort of reviews what we talked about today. So there won't be a lot of new ideas in there, but it will elaborate a bit on the lecture today. And then there's a piece we'd like you to read before next week on indigenous perspectives. So those are the two readings. They're posted in Classroom. And what we want you to do is write a very short, reflective piece, 200 words, which isn't even a full page. So it's very brief, but to talk about your own favorite ways of knowing and learning. How do you learn best? Do you learn through the arts or through story or through science? Has this changed for you over time? And what is your least favorite? So you don't have to answer all these in order or anything, just to talk about how you come to know, how you learn. Because what we know is that teachers will tend to teach children the way they like to be taught. So it's important to sort of unpack that. And the other thing, I've posted instructions for your final project, which will be due after the course is over, but it's pretty detailed instructions on what that will be. And I want you to take a look at that, and then you'll be submitting to us, there's a template provided, 2 paragraphs, very small, a proposal. What would you like to do for your final project? And you'll see there's a number of choices. So the homework's not intensive for next week, but I also want to remind people that next week is week 4, and in the 4th week of a 6-week course, we have midterm assessments. So the faculty will all look at what you've turned in, if you're turning things in a timely way, and we'll send you an email to remind you if anything has come due that you haven't turned in. It's really important to be timely and to get these short homework assignments in, because we really want everybody to succeed and to stay with us for the whole program. So try to work very hard this week to catch up if you've got anything missing. And Krishna Prema, do you want to add anything else to that?
No, I think just like Kathleen said, we just want you to succeed. So if you are having any issues or challenges with the assignments, like I said before, please reach out. And so far, the assignment, some of the stuff I've read, it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Really appreciate the effort people are putting in and really enjoy reading your guys' reflections.
And it seems like this group really already has a very good understanding of neo-humanism and neo-humanist education. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
One more thing, and we'll close 2 minutes late. We want to keep on time here, is if you have any suggestions for us about how to make the course better, how to improve your experience. Obviously, we know we've got a little work to do on the language and the breakout groups, but if there's anything else, please, we like to hear your feedback. Thanks to Wilder for stepping in.
Yes, thank you,
We
Wilder.
lost our host today. And hope we hear from you this week. So namaskar.
Enjoy your week.
Good week. See you next week.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Thank you. Muito obrigada. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar, gente. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cristine, não, mas você pode me tirar uma dúvida? Mais rápido. A Érica também está aí, poderia falar. Esse projeto é para entregar no final deste curso de 6 semanas?
The doubt, Chris,
Ou no
is
final?
if the final project is the final project from this course, the NHE 107, or is in the end of the whole period, the 2 years course?
104 only.
It's a final project for this course.
Okay. I'm sorry, Kathleen, I changed the 104 to 107. But okay, is the final
And there's a
6
Portuguese
weeks.
version as well.
Yeah, but it's for this course specifically.
Ok.
Érica.
Ô, Débora, é desse curso. Esse aí é um projeto que a gente tem que fazer para o final desse curso aqui, do 104. Cada um deles vai ter um pequeno projetinho para terminar, e esse é desse aqui.
Ok, combina. Gratidão. Namaskar.
Thank you, translators, so much. It's
Thank you,
really
Erica.
helpful.
Yes.